Welcome viewers, Syndrome here with Breaking the Stream Gaming. Today I am going to be starting up one of my favorite, more recent games, Age of Wonders Planetfall. Age of Wonders is a pretty old series now, modeled very closely after Master of Magic, which is one of my all-time favorite games. The first three, technically four if you count Shadow Magic, games in the series were high fantasy based. Elves, dwarves, goblins, the standard fantasy tropes. They definitely took a different direction with Planetfall, making it a space game, basically. Um, the latest expansion just dropped recently, Star Kings, which added an additional faction, the Oathbound Paladins. So I'm going to be starting up a new Galactic Empire, which is another feature that was released simultaneous with the expansion. Basically, it's a sort of campaign mode where we will go through various worlds, conquering them with various groups of heroes, and accruing benefits as we go along. So I've already created my empire and created my roster of heroes. I'm going to be playing. Actually, I think that I'll go ahead and play Amazon for this first one. So let's go ahead and switch over to that. I'm always going to be including my two leaders, Syndrome the Pilot and Syndrome the Dark Lady, in each of these, but the rest of the heroes will be pulled from the pools representing the faction that I'm playing. So let's go ahead and find a world to conquer. So in Galactic Empire, there are a few things that can be controlled here. The opponent level, game intensity, number of players, world size, and on some planets, the land mass. So I think I'm just going to leave everything as is except for the opponent level. I'll crank that up to extreme. And then let's take a look at what planet traits we have here. So this one has Phoenix Vaults in all of the silver and gold slots, which is quite nice. I do really like the Phoenix Vaults. They add a production bonus of one armor per tier of units being created in that colony. So yeah, that's quite nice. Rich waters, I do like ocean tiles, so that's kind of appealing. Um, and there's a secondary victory condition here related to claiming Phoenix Vaults. So this one's kind of speaking to me, but let's see what else there is. Let's see. Here we have a spacer farm. Basically, there are going to be a bunch of spacers. They are going to be at war with us, and we'll be able to win outright by claiming one of their dwellings, I think. That one is also fine, I think. Let me just check something real quick here. Okay, so none of these traits or objectives will unlock anything in the reliquary. This one, however, will unlock the Goblet of Gamers, which will let me requisition spacer units in the future. I think that's what it is. So I'm kind of inclined to go towards this one, but let's see what the third planet is first. Okay, agri worlds. I do like food, but I kind of like production a little bit more. Uh, yeah, nothing really special about this one. So let's go ahead and do the one where we're actually going to get a benefit long term out of it, which is this Goblet of Gamers. So here, I've already said that I'm going to be doing Amazon. So let's go ahead and select my commander. I'm going to go with Syndrome, the Dark Lady here. Let's see. Why don't I go through and show you? Oh, that's right. You can't actually. You can only customize their appearance for some reason here. So the traits that I have on her, I have her in an assault vehicle. Eventually, she's going to be piloting a Harrier, and then towards the end game, if it lasts that long, we'll go ahead and put her in a Pteranodon. I have Star Union Scholar for the significantly increased rewards from pickups and sites. The secret tech bonus is also nice since as a Xenoplague, I tend to focus early on at least on getting at least up to destroyer researched. I took data repository just because if you get lucky and you get the right text, it'll give you a nice boost right from the beginning, whereas the energy version is just kind of lackluster. I also took Decadent, mostly for the plus 10 hit points, but also I feel like the downside isn't really that bad. I mean, 10% food production is significant, but Amazons get quite a few things that let them uh, bolster their food production, including their long-term bonus here, which even though I kind of mock it to my friends, it actually is fairly significant. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. So why don't I go ahead and get started? In Galactic Empire, you get a certain number of units, operations, and mods which you can requisition. These let you build them in game. I typically don't even really use these all that much, but you know what? That Oathbound Scryer is pretty good. So why don't I go ahead and take that? Alternately, I could take the Devar Prospector, which would eventually pay for itself, but no, I think I'll go with the Scryer. In terms of operations, none of these are really going to be all that useful to me. Let's see. Yeah, none of them are really speaking to me. Why don't I go ahead and take this Cleansing Pulse, just in case I need a status cure at some point. And for mods, again, nothing really useful. Eventually, we'll be able to take some really good mods, but early on, the choices you get are actually rather specific. So, for example, this one can only be put on units that have an arc ability. None of the Amazon units have that. None of the Amazon units have a psionic ability. Uh, this one also only on psionic. This one on explosive. This one on entropy. This one on sonic, and this one on firearms. Yeah, so we don't actually have the ability to use any of those. Um, so you know, I'm not even gonna bother taking one. There's just no reason to. Uh, all right, so let's go ahead and launch the game now. So I haven't played the Amazons since Star Kings came out. My primary strategy with them is to basically hurry until I get Harrier production, and then focus on researching mods. Harriers have been nerfed pretty. I don't actually know how significantly they've been nerfed. I haven't played with them in a while, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, let's see. So these Psionica are apparently counting as animals. I didn't realize that. So as a Xenoplague, or rather as an Amazon, we start with an animal unit. So that's that's actually pretty good. I mean, the 25 hit points are rough, but Amazon get quite a few things that increase hit points, so it does metamorph. I might actually be able to keep this unit going, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so standard starting army here. I've got a Biomancer, a Pustule, two Archers, and a couple of Shrikes. So let's see. One of these, I'm just going to go ahead and send over to our nearest neighbor, who it looks like they're forgotten. Now, given that we're going to be at war with the Spacers, I think that I will just kind of make peace with these guys and try to keep things going. Ooh, the growth. That's nice. So as a Xenoplague, I like fighting organics. Anything that I can turn into, you know, a new pustule or use it to evolve a current pustule. Uh, okay, decent text learn from my data repository. Frontier defenses or whatever it's called is usually the first research that I do, so that'll save me a bit of time. Now let's see what we're dealing with here. I've got a production site here. Oof. This is actually not kind of my preferred starting setup. Let's see. So a lot of research, a lot of food. Let's go ahead and send our other Shrike out and see what we can see over in this direction. Now, what I'm hoping for is a node somewhere that has two production sigils. But I'm not seeing it, and given the terrain types that I'm seeing around here, I'm not really expecting to. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to set this first colony as a food hub. So I'll go ahead and take I'm going to take this sector first to ensure that I get a 2 food sigil sector right off the bat. Then I will probably go ahead and take this one, drop down a residential sector there, and then I'll take Hills Valley as another food sector. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to set this guy on Auto Explore. In Colony, I always set food to max at the beginning. Try to get up to 4 population as soon as possible. And let's see, I said I'm going to make this a food hub, so let's go ahead and build a biofarm. Okay. Let's see here. Victory condition is gank the Outlaws. So let's see. We need to capture both of the spacer dwellings. That's a little bit more difficult. Oh, although I suppose we already see one of them, so that should be a little bit easier. Okay, I'll go ahead and end turning. Oh, God, no. I haven't actually done anything yet. Where is that army? Okay, I'm going to send my main stack down here towards this quest objective. Okay. Let's see. We can either gain faction with the Forgotten, or we can gain influence. I'm always a fan of gaining influence so that I can annex my first allied colony. So why don't I just go ahead and do that? And then let's see, I'll move in with the pustule just to save on some movement points. And let's go ahead and take them out. And of course the pustule dies. That first pustule always dies. So I'll take this reward. And now we're actually pretty close to being able to annex our allied colony. So I'm guessing that it's right here. So why don't I go ahead and take this Shrike and send it down. There we go. So let's see. It's going to take 45 influence. So we'll have that in 3 turns. Okay, so here we have, well, that's going to be an energy sector though. So hopefully up in this area, we'll be able to get a double production node. So my first colonizer that I build, we're going to send up this way. Okay, now that we can actually research, I'll split that between food production and researching. We're going to be gaining our 4th population next turn. Military research. Okay, first things first, I'm going to go straight towards dispersion here. We need to get this plague pod, which now I believe even counts as a grenade. Yeah, we need those plague pods, and we need the xenografted muscles. As for society research, so we already have frontier facilities. Why don't we go ahead and grab food development, since that'll be our first sector. Okay. I think that for our first building, why don't we get started on... let me check something real quick. Let's go ahead and get started on the military skirmisher barracks, since we'll be using those to produce harriers. And then we'll just end turn. Okay, perfect. Here we have 2 double production sectors. Let's see. So where do we want to set up? Up there. I also want this double research sector, so that slightly complicates things. Maybe there will be a better place over here, actually. Let's just get a little bit more visibility before we make a decision. Now, in early game, I typically play pretty defensively, so I'm thinking that I might come down here and just kind of settle into this anomalous node for now, get a little bit of experience on my units so that I can hopefully prevent losing many more of those going forward. All right, found a Cosmite node here. That's nice. Okay, let's go ahead and claim our first sector there. So we'll go ahead and take the overgrown parking lot. Oh, something I forgot to mention. Me and my group of friends, we have fairly limited time, so we've taken to doing all combats in Planetfall as auto combats. I know that tactical combat is a fair portion of the game, but honestly, in a video series like this, if you manually do every fight, each episode is only going to be able to last for maybe 2 turns or so. So I prefer to just do the auto combats and leave it at that. Okay, so let's go ahead and build a food exploit there. I'm going to keep exploring up here because hopefully I'll be able to find a better... Oh, okay. Well, so much for expanding in that direction. I always try to keep the peace, at least early on. Looks like we're off to a bad start here since he dislikes Amazons. But he wants to avoid wars, so hopefully that'll help us in the long run. I'll probably do a little bit of complimenting of him once we have used our influence to take our first colony there. Let's explore a little bit southwards. Maybe there's a little bit of room to hedge there. Not really. Okay, well, I suppose what I'm going to be doing then is I'll put my colonist here. I'll claim those 2 sectors, assuming that Devar doesn't beat me to it. And then I'll also take this sector and that one. That'll get me 2 production nodes and a 2 chevron research node, which will be important for reducing the cosmite costs of our units. Okay, I should be able to grab that. And, oh, I should have waited for that, I guess, but oh well, no big deal. Now I'm going to switch my production here over to colonizer. I like to get that out as quickly as I can. And let's see. Okay, I think that'll be enough for that turn. Okay, we have Alpha Strain Inception now. Now we'll just move straight on to Dispersion. Let's see, our Shrike can now go ahead and recruit this colony. Let's see, should I leave that there or should I move that a bit? So looking here, I'll actually be able to claim this Cosmite node with my capital by using a residential district here. So let's see. Yeah, I think it probably makes sense to take this unit, turn it into a colonizer, then let's just send it off to the west a bit. I'm going to send my Shrike first. No real visibility gain there, but I don't really see any wandering units over here just yet, so hopefully that'll be fairly safe. Okay, this one, let's go ahead and do a little bit of pickups. Okay, we have a Devar colony there. Hopefully we'll be able to capture that. But it's going to be a while for that to be the case. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just take this unit and set it on Auto Explore. And then end my turn. Alright. Syndrome of the Dark Lady, gain a level. First thing I always take on an Amazon is Renewal to get the healing skill. So let's see. That'd be good. Our colonizer here. Okay, now I can either put it right down here, or I can move it inwards a little bit more. I wish I had a better idea what this world kind of looked like. Let's go ahead and just drop it down right here. Sooner we can get that out. Soul Beacon. What does that do? Oh, I don't care about that. I thought that might have been a hazard that would decrease happiness and some sort of production, but it doesn't look like it is, so I'm fine with that. Okay, this one, let's go ahead and we'll put that one on Auto Explore also. Now, it looks like the game defaulted to classic turns instead of simultaneous, which I don't like, but it doesn't add all that much time to things, so hopefully I'll just remember to change that before I do the next planet. Okay, we have an event here. It's decreasing influence gain by 50%, which is kind of annoying, but not the end of the world. There's also a tactical combat effect, but it doesn't seem all that bad. I'm not sure what static charge does. Let's see, static charge. Yeah, that's not terrible. Let's see. Oh wow, this deals damage to all units. That's actually pretty bad, but at least it affects our enemies also, so not just us. Okay, now I've done that. Now as Xenoplague, it's very important to get this biomatter preparation training doctrine up and running. So now that I have my food sector set up, I'm going to go ahead and go straight for that. Ugh, I hate production quests. There's so many other things that I want to be building. I'm going to go ahead and decline that one. Let's see, we do have our colonizer, so why don't we go ahead and start moving that into position. Trying to think of where the best place to put that is. It's probably right here. I don't like it being so close to a pirate hideout, but Amazon are pretty good at defending, so I should be fine once I put up the first level of standard infrastructure. Okay, we got aquatic deployment and 20 research, so that's not bad. I definitely needed to get that anyway, so let's see. So now we have two choices. We can either claim the Ark as a weapon or awaken the Ark's occupants. Now, this will put us into a combat, so we'll be able to resolve it immediately, but we're going to take some damage. We might lose a unit. Whereas this one, you know what? It's just 2 more turns of gaining experience in all these units, so I think I'm going to go ahead and claim it as a weapon. All right, in our new colony, first off, all of my secondary colonies, I try to make research science labs. I'm sorry, central science labs. I typically play a fairly heavy research game. So once I'm at a certain point, I kind of crank everything into research to try and get to the text that I really like. So actually, why don't I go ahead and show that? So my first goal here is I'm going to be picking up the basic Xenoplague skills. So this dispersion one, then I'll get the destroyer mutation mod. Once I've got that, I'll be done with this for a while. Eventually I'll be picking up the Plague Lord mutation, but that'll be kind of a secondary priority. Once I've got those, I'm going to just go straight for Harriers. So I'm going to research this Protective Grounding, then the Arborian Commune, and then Harriers. And once I've got that, I'm going straight here for regen. The regen mod is hugely important. So it's it's a pretty big priority. I do like getting Harriers first, just so that I can put my leader on one. But these regen mods are kind of extremely important for keeping our Xenoplague units alive long enough for them to evolve into Plague Lords. Okay, so let's see. I've got another 2 turns of waiting here before that unit starts moving again. I hate that the Forgotten units look like enemy spawners to me. Huh, wow, actually, yeah, this colony's in a pretty good position. We'll be able to pick up Cosmite here. It does have a production center. It actually might make more sense to... I'm going to have to research or take a look and see what's over here. It might make more sense to actually make this my production colony. But we'll see what this Shrike Sea is. Actually, why don't I take manual control of that and just do a little exploration right now. Now that Shrike is probably going to get eaten this turn, so I can move it a little bit further away. Okay, nothing really popping out at me yet, but we'll see what is revealed later. Okay, let's take another look down here. All right, now we have an assembly faction down here. Let's see. Not actually seeing any of their territory just yet, though, so hopefully they're a little bit more distant. Looks like I completed the Builder as Pioneer. That gets me an extra colonist in colony. So yeah, I mean, it got me up to 2, which is nice, but ultimately kind of an unimportant bonus. The sort of more important... Oh, God. Wait a minute. Have I not been producing here? Okay, maybe I did, just forgot about it. Let's go ahead and build a food plantation, and then we'll increase the sector to 2. So I always try to get the Economist unlocked as Pioneer. It gives a nice energy boost right off the bat, so... Actually, it might be... Yeah, it's not worth spending that much on increasing the speed of that. Okay, I'm going to keep moving this colonizer towards our ultimate goal here. Let's see, and now I'm going to cast the Builder Doctrine. It decreases the production required to build structures by 20%. I build a lot of infrastructure, so that's really kind of a very important one to have. Okay, well, looks like we've got a unit. Well, let's see if this stack can do something first. So this Essence Arc spawns a drained unit. That is actually kind of nice. Now, I'm not a Heriter, so I'm not really going to be able to get good use out of that, but creating units is always a good thing in combat, so I'm definitely going to equip that. Okay, we're not going to be able to make it back there this turn. So let's go ahead and build some standard infrastructure. We'll spend the 260 energy to fast build it, which is disappointing, but we definitely don't want to lose the colony. And that should be more than sufficient to take on that. As I said, Amazons are quite good at defending. Let's go ahead and drop that colonizer down. Okay, now we have dispersion. That is going to be the point at which we really start modding units. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, this tick, the only thing, oh, shoot. Is it, let's see, mineral. Okay, I'll start with the Biomancer, I guess. I'm going to put Plague Pods and the Xenoplague Parasite on that. That will turn it into a Xenoplague unit, which means that the Plague Pod Grenade will actually heal it, turning this into both a damage and a healing ability and an infection ability. So it's really good. Um, let me just check something though. Biological and cyborg, any mod. Okay, so yeah, we won't be able to put the parasite on our what's this called? Liquid tick because it's a mineral unit, not a biological. So that's a little bit disappointing, but not the end of the world. Okay, our huntresses are going to be getting. Oh, do I give them all three? I think I'm going to give them all three. I'm going to go ahead and give them plague pods, a parasite, and also acidic compounds. Okay, so next turn, those units will be finished modding. On our leader here, let's go ahead and give xenografted muscles. Oh, well, it looks like that's all that we have energy for anyway, so yeah, that'll do. The nice thing about heroes is that they don't have a modding cooldown time, so they don't have to spend a turn equipping those mods. Now, let's see, where do we want to send this team now, though? I've got a generator down here, but I think that I want to let that one remain. So ordinarily, I always try to clear out my monster generators. But if I'm playing Xenoplague and there's a generator that's creating uh, biological or cyborg units, I kind of want to keep it alive just so that I can hopefully turn some of those units into pustules. So why don't I make my way back up this way, and we'll see what we can find. Let's see. Yeah, I also want to find out where his domain starts. It looks like it starts right over there, so we're pretty close on this side. Okay, I'm not really seeing anything. Actually, what's the benefit of this place? Oh, cryo repopulation. That is so good. And let's see. Biological and cyborgs have +4 resistance to status effects. That's also really good. Is it better than having production and research, though? You know, I think it can go either way. So I think that my plan with this colony is going to be... Oof, maybe we'll grab this food sector first. Now, we're kind. Oh, wait a minute. There's a double production right there. Oh, that definitely changes my plan here. So instead of what I was going to do, what I think I'll do instead of that is this. Research, production, production. Okay, so I think that I'll actually turn my capital into my production site, which means that I'm going to have to use this one as my food production site. It's too far from the water, though. Shoot. I might have made a mistake here. Let's see. Well, I can always build out that direction. Interesting quandary. So ultimately, I want to have one sector that is producing all of my units, basically. And I want the most benefits in that one that I can get. So I'm going to be focused on building Harriers as my main unit. So I'm going to want a level 3, or rather a level 5 production site with a reinforcement factory. Ah, tough. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of rethink how I did things here, but it shouldn't be too bad. I suppose that, well, hmm. Ordinarily, I have one food site that produces most of the food for my empire. Because of how I did things, though, I think that that's not really going to work out. So I think what I might have to do is sort of do a everybody for themselves situation. Oh wow, they're expanding this way pretty quickly too. So, oh, okay. I think that I'm going to have to move my army up and take out this generator here, just so that we can claim this food sector for this area. Actually, even though it's the total opposite of what I was planning, I think that I might turn this into my food production site. I'll be able to take two sigil food sites, plus it's on the water, and then plenty of room for dropping down residential districts. This has gone all kinds of screwy, so is what it is though. I'll make do. Okay, that's enough time thinking about that though. Let's keep exploring the map a little bit. Let's see, they've already built their infrastructure. I could build turrets. Turrets are good. Um, yeah, turrets will basically guarantee that we can hold this against any monster generator. So why don't I go ahead and do that? Okay, so we should be getting attacked here. I don't have any money to pay for tactical operations, and I kind of need that money. But 440 versus 480, with these units, we should be fine. Yeah, like I said, Amazons are really good at defending. Okay, looks like Bale the pilot, or I'm sorry, Syndrome the pilot has shown up. Huh, I don't have enough money to recruit him, but hopefully we'll be able to rectify that soon. I'm going to go ahead and attack here. Oh, wow, I lost my Lancer. That's not ideal. Huh, I don't have money to replace it either. Oh boy. Okay, well, we gained a level out of it at least, so let's go ahead and take Biology Expert, which will give everybody 5 hit points and 2 bio resistance. And what else are we going to take here? Rapid movements is good to give us Skitter, which is a rather powerful skill. Um, yeah, that'll do. Oh boy, though, this is that is not an ideal development because we need money both for firing our hero here and also for placing that vehicle. So, oops. Let's just keep heading up north. Is there anything we can sell? Maybe. Nope. Okay, I think what we're going to need to do here is, well, if we get this finished, let's go ahead and put someone in there. So this means that next turn we'll get Economist as pioneers. Nobody else has achieved it yet. So that will actually be perfect. Because at that point, we'll get a nice 200-ish energy boost. Or I could just go ahead and pick up some energy there. That works too. Okay, now that I have that energy, let's go ahead and put me back in a vehicle. Okay, our colony up here, first thing we're going to build is that, well, if I'm considering making this my food place, I'm going to build a central bio farm, which is odd for me, but that's what we got to do, I think. Okay, this one gained the food out of that pickup site, so it's going to be able to expand. Where do we want to go here? Hmm. Actually, that would be interesting. So with this one, if I drop down a residential sector, where could I drop down that residential sector then? No, that's not going to work. I was thinking that I could drop down residential sectors here and here, which would let me. Well, actually, if I drop down a residential sector in the rocket runes, I could claim both this and that, which lets me. Hmm, that's an idea. Okay, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to go with my original plan. I'm going to make my starting colony my food production colony. I will make this my production colony. I'm just going to expand back towards my capital, though. So I'll drop down a residential research, a residential exploit here, which lets me claim this is my production site, and this also is a production site. So I get the double there and a research site here. So that's all that I need. So yeah, that'll be actually pretty perfect. Okay, so let me go ahead and claim this sector. Uh, Let me change this since I don't want that biosector there anymore. I'll go ahead and make that a science lab. What did I build here again? I built a science lab there. That's fine. Okay, and then my capital will just expand westward. So we'll go ahead and take this site as a food production site. This one will turn into a residential node, hopefully as soon as we can to claim it before uh, the Devar here have a chance to. And then this one, we'll figure that out as we go along. This went off the rails a little bit, so is what it is. Okay, now we should be completing Economist as Pioneer. All right, perfect. That got us a very nice energy boost, which also lets us recruit Syndrome Pilot. Now, I wonder. I'm kind of curious if the Oathbound heroes will be able to get the Colony Lord abilities, even though we're not playing a Oathbound Empire. But we'll have to wait to find out on that. Okay, now let's go ahead and give him some mods. Ugh, well, the only thing he can get is this plague pot here, but that will be kind of useful since as he's piloting the Marquis, he's kind of a support unit right now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and meet up in that spot there. And then we'll just move on and take this out easily. All right, go ahead and claim the forest here. Our people are a little bit unhappy, so why don't we go ahead and build that rec dome now? Yes. Let's see. That'll do. Okay, now we have biomatter preparation training. This increases the chance of either spawning or evolving a Xenoplague unit by 30% for each hero in the stack. Since we're going to be keeping our heroes together, at least for the foreseeable future, this will be pretty important to us. Now that we've got that, though, let's go ahead and get the research development. Usually I try to get each of these four right off the bat, since we'll be using each of those various sectors in our colonies. Let's see, what are we going to put in this one? So food will get us to our goal quicker. So why don't I go ahead and do that? I'll probably change what it is later on, but for now, let's go ahead and make that a food site. this one down here. Ooh, finally found the spacers. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and use our biomatter preparation training. Okay. I think that's everything. Okay, we'll keep clearing units with this stack here. I'm kind of concerned for this liquid tick. Its hit points are going up, but it's still kind of squishy, and I do want to get it up to prime rank. But let's see what we can do here. These mega sows are actually really annoying. They are definitely an undercon. I oftentimes will lose units when I fight these, so hopefully it goes better than expected. Okay, and we have a pustule. Perfect. How do I want to handle this? I could just kick the tick out of the group. I mean, since it's a mineral unit, I'm never going to be able to put the Xenoplague mods on it. Yeah, why don't I do that? Once I can move the stack again, I'll swap the tick out. I mean, I guess I could split the stack right off the bat. Why don't I do that? I'll go ahead and can make a second stack here. I'll send over the tick and one of the archers so that we'd have 2 medium stacks, and then we'll just move them together. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take another agriculture exploit with that one. We've hit level 2 with our Void Tech here. Yes, we can. Perfect. Okay, so the Oathbound are a new faction, and they introduced the concept of a colony lord. So basically, each lord can be designated as either an agrarian lord, an energetic lord, or a scientific lord. Scientific gives a base effect of 10% research income. Oh, actually, I guess since we're not playing Oathbound, we won't be able to build thrones, so we'll never get the hero in colony ability. Which is fine, because the ones I care about are the always active ones. Scientific gives research with if the heroes in the domains or colony's domain also increases colony income by 4. That can be huge, but since our heroes are mostly going to be out and about doing things, not all that applicable. Agrarian increases food and happiness production, and energetic increases production and energy. Now, there's a second tier of these, keyed off of which of these 3 you pick. The scientific one increases that colony's either military or society research income by 20%. Agrarian decreases the thresholds for earning a new colonist or a happiness event by 30%. And energetic decreases the unit production cost or the building production cost by 20%. So definitely going to be taking the energetic version here. Not at level 2, though. There are other things that he needs before that. Let's see. Attenuators is a big one. Trailblazer will make them fast, so why don't we go ahead and take those. Now, I think that I'm going to call this episode here. Actually, it went quite a bit longer than I had planned for, but I'll pick it up next time with Age of Wonders Planetfall. Syndrome with Breaking the Stream. Thanks for watching. Take care.